I think of it as, your rising sign, if you know that, is what people's first impressions are of you and what the world thinks of you. And I think that I consider that to be kind of season 1. It's all of Emily's first impressions of us, what we first give off. And it's been really fun to watch these characters come into, getting to know their moon sign, like who they are when they're alone, their introvert, their emotional side. And then I think in season 4, especially, seeing these characters really come into their star sign, or like who they are.
How exciting is it for you all to be able to come back for another season of Emily in Paris? And I also want to know, what do you hope for each of your characters? Knowing what we just saw on screen, what are you hoping for each of your characters come the next season?
I think it was really interesting. I think we all can agree on this. When we filmed season 1, we didn't know if we go to a 2. So there's always a weird thing when you're filming a show, hoping it gets to continue, and you start storylines and you're like, oh God, but where does it go? And then we got a season pickup of 3 and 4. So we knew that shooting 3, we'd get to explore the storylines from 3 into 4. But then once we filmed 4, we didn't know if we were going to get to continue. So it was a kind of strange experience to be starting all of these new adventures and relationships, or ending relationships, not knowing if we get to explore it further. So I think we were quite relieved knowing we got season 5 to be able to do more of that. And also just so excited. Rome, Italy, like, are you kidding me? It's so stunning, and it felt like every character was experiencing a little bit of like what Emily did season 1, with that wide-eyed, excited, oh my God, this city's amazing. I know you had been there before, and Bruno, and the characters, but a lot of us were just Emily again, and that was really refreshing. And I just hope we get to explore more of Italy, and I don't know, more of that vulnerability that we get to see this year of Emily, and more putting her phone down, because I know I need to do that more in my life. So I'm hoping that Emily inspires me to do that more in mine, and just living in the moment for me.
For sure.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Sylvie is in a weird spot, but yeah. It was so wonderful to also work with new actors, Raoul Bova and Rupert Everett. And so I really hope, I love my regular partners, but it's always nice to have, meet new people. So that's totally Sylvie, isn't it? It's like, oh my God. I'm just, and so, yeah.
It's been a long press tour.
It's been a long press tour. Yeah, I hope to have more scenes with Rupert, because we had so much fun in the scenes together. I hope that I go back to Italy, that I don't leave the agency only to Emily, because she's going to mess it up, at a certain point. And and I hope that we have more adventures to save other companies in Italy, maybe, I don't know, and explore the country, because the country is obviously incredible. I know it because I was raised there, but yeah.
Hey, Mindy's off to Shanghai. So what does that mean for season 5?
I think one of the last phone calls is to Emily is she's only going for a couple of days, because I really hope Mindy just crashes permanently in Rome with Emily. She's like, oh, I finally have the apartment to myself. This is lonely. I'm going to move to Rome. So yeah, I think I echo that. I think we were all so excited to be in Italy, and also explore different parts of it too. Like Mindy's scenes, besides at the fountain, was mostly just in the bedroom with Emily, like sleeping. I think I had one scene where I was sleeping the whole time. So I actually wouldn't mind more of those. That was fun for me. Oh, it's been a long story. What am I talking about? And selfishly, I want... I'm just gonna say, I want Mindy to get back with Nicola.
By the Agence Gâteau. That's what you said.
Yeah, I want to be hired by Agence Gâteau, move to Rome. I don't think Mindy would do very well at Agence Gâteau, but I want her to get back with Nicola, because I like having scenes with my boyfriend.
In Italy.
And
in Italy. I mean, like,
that's
basically
yeah.
a vacation.
1,000%. Yes.
So we just have everyone travel to different cities so we could just get free vacations for you guys for the next season. I feel like
basically that's it.
So it's not Emily in Paris, it's Emily in Rome for at least maybe possibly part of season 5. But what was your first reaction when Darren Star said, we're actually going to hop cities this season?
Darren's actually talked about it for a few years, as he's always loved Rome and Italy, and loves Paris, but it's also the other city that makes sense in terms of fashion and luxury items and
Romance
and
beauty.
food and sex and all the things you
Food,
reference.
sex, and everything, culture.
But also knowing that that you, as Philippine, and also Sylvie, had a connection to Italy, and Bruno/Luke. So it just really made sense. And so we've just kind of been waiting for him to say it's happening. And when he brought it up this year, it was like, not only do we get Christmas, we get fall, winter, we're also going to Rome. It was like, in one season? How are we doing that? So it was really exciting.
Yeah, that's what's crazy, because I feel like, what's the timeline? Is it in actuality? Is it?
It's a good question. I don't know if we
8 months?
ever
It's
know.
expanded. There's a lot of fantasy in this show. Let's like expand time, and doesn't matter, does it?
Well, because I realized that, yeah, you got your first Christmas episode, which, what an incredibly beautifully shot episode too. What was it like kind of filming that one?
It's stunning in Megève. It has a life of its own up there, and cinematically using drone shots. And I mean, what Andy Fleming and Darren did with Seamus, our DP, was really exquisite. It felt like a little mini movie, and so does Rome, and the idea of utilizing the mountains to represent this expansive new world for Emily. And I mean, we've seen it now in summertime for 3 seasons, and it was, if you're going to go to a season 4, we have to switch it up. And I don't know, the cultural differences at Christmas is so fun. Sweaters. I don't know if you've seen the episode yet, but we all love an ugly sweater. And skiing, it's like falling down a mountain.
I was making faces with the sweater.
I mean, it is
It's like
ugly,
sweater,
but
really?
it is like, I had a little remote control attached to it where I could like press a button and like the eyebrows lit up, or like it would sing a different song, and I just messed with the cast the entire
Did you
time.
not learn anything from Sylvie? I mean, come on.
Christmas is the best time of year.
I know, I did love the scene at dinner when they were like, please turn off the
So
lights.
much of that was
please."
improv too, which was funny.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Well, how was it shooting those episodes in Rome? Because not only is it physically different, but how is it different tonally, maybe? And I know that for Sylvie, you had to switch from heels to flats, maybe.
Oh yeah, that was so good. That was so good. Yeah, Rome, the colors, the light, the people, the tenderness of the Romans, and we came out of the really harsh winter in Paris, so it was suddenly we had vitamin D. It's like, oh my God, we can finally live. And people were so sweet and enthusiastic. They literally not assaulted properly, but like were around you all the time, and you couldn't shoot. And it was like, no, it was beautiful because they loved the show. They're on Netflix all the time. That's what they told me. And they really loved the show, so they were really proud. And we saw that when we premiered the show in Rome, the part 2 in Rome. And they were so happy. And we brought this new kind of life to the cinema in Rome, because they haven't had like a party that we had for the premiere in Rome. That had never happened for a long time. So they're really happy. They're joyful people, and it changes from the Parisians a lot.
Well, Ashley, I wanted to ask you perform a beautiful song in the finale. It was so beautifully done. I wanted to ask, how much input did you have musically on this season? And could you talk about that scene specifically? Because I feel like that feels like Mindy at her most vulnerable in a lot of ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the music element of the show has become, I think the most challenging things are sometimes the most rewarding after the fact. And doing a musical number, and how, Andy Fleming, he always directs, and he has this vision for these musical numbers that is so gorgeous and takes in the scenery. But for that number in particular, Ruins, the one that you just saw, Freddie Wexler, who wrote he wrote the song Mon Soleil a couple seasons ago. We worked with him again, and him and Darren thought of the concept of the song, and it was special because, well, actually, to be honest, I got the sheet music for the song the day before I recorded it in the studio. And there's something super visceral and guttural about having to make a song your own that's never been sung before. But really, for me, I always love to go approach a song from its lyric. I need to know what it's saying and what it's talking about before I can put a melody to it. And Freddie was in Rome, and he came and we recorded that for a whole day. I don't think I had a voice after that day, but I think those are the kinds of things as an artist and as a musician that feel the most rewarding and fulfilling, so that by the time we finished recording it, it really felt like it was my own. And it's very special when a character's specificity and their story kind of matches a feeling that you really need to release and express as a human. And that's something that the song did for me. It's really about the highs and the lows in life and how you can find beauty in such heartbreak or devastation or not seeing a way forward. And I think it meant everything to me also I think it was very intimidating to be at the Turtle Fountain, a very public place, and they're blasting this song. And whenever Lily is by my side or Emily is there with me, I always feel a sense of calm. And, I always think, oh, wow, Mindy's actually got a lot of guts to be able to just sing this in a public place. But I think that it was reminiscent of the first time she ever sang in the series in the park. And I think when she feels very safe with Emily, as I do with Lily, and those are the moments that you can kind of really release as an artist. And I think it's cool that Mindy wrote that song for the first time, and it's from her own soul in a way.
And you also see the emotion in Emily's eyes too, and it's a testament to their friendship throughout this season too. So was it just as emotional for you to watch Ashley perform?
Yeah, it was also the night she was finishing, so I was didn't want you to leave. And then it was, she could sing anything and I'd cry. So even when we're filming Oops, I Did It Again or anything, you're like, can we get a reaction shot of you? And I'm like, yes. And I'm just crying. And they're like, it's not supposed to be sad. You're supposed to be laughing. I'm like, oh, okay, just give me a second. And because she's just so good and there's so much heart. And I don't think people understand, I certainly didn't until working with someone like Ashley, who is having to sing and dance while acting and going into the studio to record and sometimes choreographing it herself and pulling in favors and organizing how it's going to be sung. And she does all of that from season 1 plus acting plus resting. So I kind of know all of the backstory in that moment, and then she makes it look effortless. So it's wild to see someone just then turn it out knowing that it was a struggle, because sometimes it was but there were times when
Lily.
You have no energy.
Do you see why I feel very comfortable before?
No, but you don't really understand, not you one may not fully understand I myself that so much work goes into it. So when I'm watching her, I'm actually I'm watching Mindy, but I'm like, oh my God, she's doing it, and I just get really emotional. And I love that we get to see someone else reacting to someone else being the active person. It's not about me, it's about her, and I get to just watch. I think that's so important, and I think that's something that I love so much about our show as a producer on it. This is Emily in Paris, but it's not Emily. It's this season we get to see all the other characters thrive minus me. And I love that so much because I think it's so important that we all get to know the other people on their own stories.
But I think also you listing up, when she was listing off all the things that I have to do to prepare, I was like, that's literally your job as a producer and as lead of the show. It's tenfold what anyone thinks it is, So
no, I appreciate that, but it's seeing your storyline this year and seeing your vulnerabilities and seeing a character like yours that I've not seen before on TV. And, season 1, the show revolves around Emily's world, and now we get to I'm not on screen for a while, and I love that because it's you get to shine and you get to shine, and I just think that that's really important. I know I totally went on a tangent, But I'm just like, it makes me think, the more we've talked about this and we've been on this press tour, it's like, I value everyone on this show so much as the individuals that they are, and then they make me Emily, so I can easily react to Ashley. I can easily react to Philippine because we've gotten to know them as individuals more.
Yeah.
If
Are
that
you
makes
guys
any
horoscope
sense.
people? Like, do you like in terms of like star signs and rising and moons? And if you're not, it's okay. But I think of it as, your rising sign. If you know that is what people's first impressions are of you and what the world thinks of you. And I think that I consider that to be kind of season one. It's all of Emily's first impressions of us, what we first give off, and it's been really fun to watch these characters come into getting to know their moon sign, like who they are when they're alone, their introvert, their emotional side. And then I think in season 4 especially, seeing these characters really come into their star sign, or like who they are.
Yeah, no, it's really beautiful to watch for sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah, let's give a hand for that. That was beautifully said. Thank you guys for that. I do have to agree, because it's been really beautiful to watch these characters grow, but not only, you guys as these characters, but also all of you as a cast. And looking back to season 1, you filmed the show in 2019. It premieres during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic in 2020. So you weren't really, I don't think, able to see the true reaction from the fans. You weren't able to be out here like you are right now. So how has it been to kind of be on this massive ride together and seeing how much the fans have embraced the show, to be able to get a season 4, a season 5, and continuing to grow not only as these characters, but you all as individuals together as a cast?
I'm the one who's supposed to talk now. No, it was overwhelming when we got out of, all the lockdowns and everything. And actually it was season 2 we started to come out, but we didn't have a premiere. We had a premiere for season 3, and that was incredible. To suddenly find out. I mean, we knew people were watching it, obviously, but we also found out that people were relating to us in a very special way. They loved each character for many different reasons, and they were identifying with them in a very deep way that really surprised me. It's very moving, and to be able to grow like we're growing, because we have, it's beautiful. The series are beautiful because there's time for characters. So, and yeah, I would echo what you're saying about, finding out who we all are with time, not only on set but off set. And it's really like a family. It's like a family can be complicated sometimes, but when we stick together, we know each other. We're starting to really know, also our shadow, and which is interesting. I do a lot of shadow work with Sylvie. That's really and I think she is my shadow in a way. And so it's really interesting to see, everybody's subconscious. I'm really interested in that, and I think an actor's work is I focus on that when I work. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful to grow with people. Everybody's changed so much since season 1. So
I would
much.
say,
all of us.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we've all talked about this. It's really changed our lives so much. I keep getting emotional on this like season 4 press tour, but I think it's really because, and we were talking about this earlier today too, just like thank you for coming out and watching it. You could have sat on your couch and watched it on Netflix, but you chose to join us today. And like I think that we're really processing on this season's press tour just like how wonderful and lovely and how connected we feel to everybody who watches the show, and to each other too. And it really does feel like we've been through, it's been half a decade now since we first started, and we've all changed like vastly, but we've really gotten to know the cores of who we are and also of these characters, and so like it means everything to us.
Also because we have a showrunner who's very, very aware of who he's writing for, and he's incredible because he sees things in us that obviously we don't see. He really sees our subconscious. And so he uses it. We're like the other day, we're all together talking, and he was listening to all our answers, like And I could see him. I could see him downloading information. I was like, oh,
It's a little bit, he's a little bit like your cell phone when you're kind of talking about things. And then the next thing you're starting scrolling Instagram and you're like, I did talk about a new KitchenAid, but I don't know if I
Exactly.
asked for it, but I'm going to buy it. He's literally just kind of
Exactly.
like looking up from his thing now.
Exactly.
Literally.
It was so beautiful to see him. Like the other night he was so touching. I was like, oh my God, he's downloading information. Oh my God, next thing Lucas is gonna do that and no. Oh, it's great. It's great. So he's helping us to grow too.
Well, having played these characters for as long as you have, is there a character choice or a quirk that each of your characters have that you have now found that kind of slips into your day-to-day life because you've been living in these characters for so long? Is there like something that you made as an active choice that maybe Emily does that you're like, oh my God, I find myself doing this in real life now?
There's so many things. I didn't know I was so expressive with my face. Like Emily is just like pretty obvious, and like now sometimes I will say something and my husband will be like, maybe you should show it a little less on your face, and I'm like, oh, was I really that obvious? And it's like, I don't even register because she's so bright and bold and bubbly and all of these things, but like unapologetically herself. And so if I don't like something or I like something, or it's like my eyebrows, like everything moves so much. And like, it's great for, skin and, the muscles in my face are like really tight. No, but it's funny. I just didn't realize that I actually was as expressive. And I think that I'm more so because she is. It's fun and gets me into trouble sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it gets me into trouble to be just as unapologetically honest sometimes. Because once you start playing Sylvie and you can say what you think, you tend to want to do that in life.
I do it with words, I do it with my face.
Not exactly. Not good. Not good. So I'm trying to learn diplomacy. What?
I kind of love that though. It's like we all need a little bit of Sylvie in our life.
No, I was asking actually the producers. I said, okay, when I come to America, I'm French, so I have to be careful because I say things that sometimes are like very French, and I'm really scared that Americans are not going to understand it because they're going to find it like kind of bold or maybe rude. Or I said, no, just be yourself. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm trying to like hold the horses.
God, I would probably say, it's so hard because we've been talking about these characters for a couple of weeks now. So I'm like, where does it end? And where do I begin? But I actually think that Mindy has probably taken from me over the course of 4 seasons where I in watching this season, this 4th one back, I was like, she's very like frantic and chaotic a lot. and I think that probably I love so much that Mindy's just so not judgmental, even though she's like says the truth as it is. But I think that I've learned a bit more of how to be bold in how I speak too, or just being a little bit. I think Mindy's very confident in when she wants to take a stand in something, or when she feels that something's right or wrong, and she says that very clearly. And I usually navigate around it and try to figure out what the best way, And I think I'm trying to. I've learned a little bit of that from Mindy.
For sure. Final question. After filming together for 4 seasons, is there a standout memory or scene that you have all been able to share together? It doesn't have to be from this season either, just over the course of the last 4 seasons.
Very rarely in a scene together. Separately.
Oh, remember the paniche on the river that night where she was singing?
Oh yeah, the boat. That was fun.
Boat.
But we still were all in different scenes, but we were all being held in the same.
We were
captive.
held on the same boat. We couldn't go
Yeah, we literally were held captive all night
all
long.
night until sunset. I mean, sunrise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually really cool. I'd never been on
What season
one of
was
those.
that? 2?
Elsie
was
came
2.
in too.
It was
It was
2.
season
It was
2.
2.
It was Lucian's like first night or something. Remember, it was like his first
Yeah.
day shooting.
First day, and
All
it
were
was
together.
when I met my younger boyfriend.
Oh yeah, the
That scene.
photographer. But what was so fun is, I thought it was funny because I had just like bought a tour on the those boats that go around the
Bateau
Seine.
mouche.
Yeah, Bateau mouche, and I had not bought the boat, but I had paid to like go on one of those like Seine tours. And then when we did that scene, I was like, wow, I should have just waited for this. We've been doing it all night.
Much better.
But that
right?
was fun.
That was really
yeah.
fun.
That was
And I will say too, like one of I didn't realize until we were doing the scene with the shiny face stuff.
Oh, that-
the lube on the face. That was Mindy's first time at the office.
Yeah.
And I like, the sets are all close together.
trying to rip me off.
Yeah, so
Actually was a fun one. That's right,
mostly because I was like,
yeah.
I have literally seen this table so many times and I've heard about it and I have never sat at this table with these people.
It's a great moment because you and I have our relationship where I'm like trying to be your best friend and being like, it's a little weird, But
that
then
expressive
but
face
then-
again, Lily.
It helps sometimes. But then you and I are starting to really align at work
Yeah,
in a lot of ways
yeah.
where we're like, this is not going well. And so it was kind of nice that brought us together. But I don't know, it was actually that's a good call to bring that up
yeah.
because it's very rare that we're all in a scene together and then the dynamics shift when new characters come into
Do you
play in
guys
different
remember when,
environments.
and also the same episode when we were at the
Galerie Lafayette.
Yes, yes,
Galerie Lafayette.
and we were filming the scene where we're at the store where they're selling the product, and then everybody puts it on, and they opened the stores to customers, regular customers, while
were
we were still
coming in.
filming.
Yeah, that's right.
And
We were
people
filming and they were trying to buy the products and we were like, this isn't for sale.
This
We're
isn't for
shooting.
sale, like-
because they couldn't
Careful, it's not cream.
yeah. Don't put that on your
Yeah,
face.
we were like, should we go or are they gonna stop? Like people were like walking in, and we were like, what do we
they
do?
couldn't close it down for like hours and hours. And we're
Yeah,
like, is
yeah.
this normal?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Well, unfortunately, you guys, I am out of time. I wish I could talk to you guys all night about this because I did have more questions about what did they actually use to put on your face? Oh my gosh.
I think it was like serum. I hope so. I hope it wasn't
We're very glossy.
really love. Yeah, we were.
there was-
real-
it was
actually one of our makeup and hair supervisors, Carol. She would like go around with a little zzzz, like a little.
You looked very shiny.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys again for spending the time
you
with
so
us.
Thank
you so much for
Thank
coming
you so
out.
much.